Hello everyone. My name is Shane Arvindasa from BSIT NS2A. For our operating systems, we will now begin to create the TUP-T domain for our Windows server. Let us begin. After finishing and completing all of the credentials, after installing the Windows server, we can now create the domain for our finals project. First we will go to the administrative tools, then find the server manager. Then continue. Then let's go to the roles, then proceed to add roles. It's loading. Ayun. We will now install the Active Directory domain for to create our main domain of the TUPT. Then next. Then next. Then let us begin the installation. Let's just wait for the installation to be completed. After finishing installing the Active Directory, we can now proceed on the domain controller. We will just click the link below of the Active Directory domain controller. And the restart, then next. Next, now create a new domain in a new forest. This should be tupt.com. Then next. Let's for the verification. Here. The forest functional should be Windows 2008. And the functional level should be Windows 2000 native. We don't need to change that. Let's just proceed to next. Then additional domain DNS server should be checked. Let's just continue to next. This one we will just click the yes because we will create the domain controller. And yes, then we don't need to change that. Let's just next. For the password, we will just use the current password in our Windows server. After inputting next, then we don't summary, then let's just wait for the DNS installation to be finished. After completing the Active Directory installation, we need to restart our Windows server to continue to the next part. Let us finish, then yeah, we need to restart. For the second part, we will now add the domain users and distribute the IT students to all of the departments. To do this, we must create a few users in the Active Directory users and computers. As you can see, I have created a few users of the students in the IT department. For that, for the departments, we will continue the domain and we must go to the new and create the organizational unit. We will create two organizational units for the academic department and for the administrative department for the TUPT officials. I already finished creating all of the departments using the organizational units, and I distributed all of the user students to their respective departments. So if we check in each of these departments, we can see a few students are now in the folder. So let's check again. So there, we have a few students now in the different departments. So we will now create the workstation for each of the courses and departments. So to do this, we'll just right click, then create new, then computer. So for the computer name, I will just name it electrical since the first station that I have clicked is the electrical department. So electrical. After that, click OK. Then after finishing, you'll select the students. Select students, then go to their properties, then account. Then let's go to the computer restrictions to apply the workstation. So after clicking, go to the log on to workstations, then click the following computers. So we will just input the name of the computer that we have created in that department, which is the electrical. So add, then OK. So don't forget to click the apply before clicking the OK button. So it will saved. So we'll just do this the same method in the different departments, creating the computer, then adding the workstations in each department. So after creating and organizing the workstations in the log on users, we can now continue to the next part, which is the all users should change their passwords every 30 days. So to do this, we'll go to the start button, then administrative tools, then group policy management. Then we will look for the security settings. So let's just go to the administrative password and for the security settings. So there. So after looking up the password management, we'll change the maximum password age and change it to 30 days. So let's just change the password. So, password. Same password age. Then check the checkbox so that we can change the days. So let's make it 30 days. Then for don't forget to apply. Then okay. So we have now set the maximum password age. So to the last part, academic users can log on from 7:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., while administrative staff users can log on from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So to do this, we go to the administrative tools, then select the academic users first. So select, then properties, then go to the account, then go to the logon hours. So this will this part we will set the required time for the academic users and for the administrative users. So for the next part, we will now go to the DHCP server. So before doing that, we will just fix the IP addresses in our local area connection. So after inputting all of the IP addresses, we can now install the DHCP server. CP server, server, then next, check the IP address, then check, and also let us validate all of the IP addresses, and the IP address should be all validated and verified, so we can continue. Validate, so it's valid. Then we'll just input the alternate in a server. One and validate again, so it's valid. So it's both applicable. So let us proceed. The just next, the next. So I'm just checking a few of the requirements. So next. Check that parent domain if we're using the correct domain. Then next. Then use the current credentials. Then next, then let us begin the installation. So after the installation is completed, we can now proceed to the DHCP server. So we can now implement the other IP addresses that we will use in our domain. Let's continue to go to the DHCP, then our domain, then we will create a new scope. Then their scope name should be anything, so I'll just name it to DHCP. DHCP. So after that, we will just next. Just check. So let's put DHCP server, then next. So the IP address that we will input is 172.168.31.0 and 31. So for the IP address. So I will just input the IP addresses that we needed. So in our list duration, the IP address list expires so in every 88 hours. So we'll just put the 8 hours there, then next, then for our next IP address, 1 so 31 031. Then so let's just add, then next. So input a few IP addresses here, including the 8888 and the 8844 IP address. So next, so there we have it. We have completed the DHCP server part in our TUPT domain.